Hey guys, we're going to be making our way through Watcher's Keep. We're going to do the first few levels relatively quickly. They aren't that difficult and you can do them much earlier in the game if you want to. What you are going to notice is the fact that I do need to fight more enemies than you do if you come here immediately. We're also going to need to fight more statues at the end of the floor. But apart from that, this floor is relatively straightforward and doesn't take us that long to get through. There are a couple ghosts here that are annoying, mainly because they drain your strength. One thing that I forget is that I'm using Chromatic and I'll need fire or acid damage in order to actually permanently kill the trolls here. The golem manual you pick up here is actually quite useful at the start of the game, but at this point it's pretty much useless for me. There's also +3 returning darts that you can get in one of the chests in this level. I don't believe I pick it up, but it's a very good weapon if you're just starting out in Shadows of Amn. And of course the enemies that you see in here will be a lot more manageable, because this area does scale pretty hard. Yeah, these are the wraiths that or ghosts I was talking about. You'll see that they drain my strength, they're constantly going invisible, they're just annoying. I don't know if you see these guys anywhere else, really.
Time is up. Time is up for you, my friend.
You could of course pick up the ward stones and the slippers if you don't want to fight any of the enemies here, but honestly I didn't even need to summon. These guys at this point are just not that difficult, and they aggro one at a time as well.
Give me some direction.
So the witch is fairly straightforward as well.
Give me some direction.
You should not have come to this place. Not you. Not you.
It's probably best left to me. Give me some direction.
You're going to notice that I don't play this statue fight very well. I forgot that a couple of these are going to be mages at this point, so I think one of them casts Death Spell or something like that, and just kills one of my swords immediately. So I should have targeted these two at the back first. Or it's, I don't know what attack that was. It must be a priest spell that does magic damage. But yeah, I eventually take the rest of them out, and I use a Planeter for the last fight, which pretty much mops up everything pretty cleanly. I pick up ToB in here. It is a good weapon, but it is a bastard sword, so I have no proficiency in it, and I honestly don't need it.
Hold still.
As you can see, I definitely could have played this fight better. I don't know if the statues are immune to fire, otherwise I would use Incendiary Cloud here, but it ends up not being too much of a problem because the Planetar tanks all the difficult attacks for me anyway.
Scream for mercy. Let's do this frickin' pain. Give me some. I'm willing.
More suicidal fanatic. So I'm glad you've decided to be reasonable.
Moving on to the second floor, which is the elemental area. This one is kind of annoying, but it's still not too difficult, I would say. We're going to be using quite a few cloud kills in here, I think. Mainly because they're effective against most of the enemies. So the most annoying part about this is these 4 rooms in the corners that have some trick to them that you need to take into account. So this first one, I think this is a lightning trap that will put you in a held status occasionally. I do just back out of the room and I use protection from magic weapons. I keep going back into the room. I end up just staying here, but I think this trap will occasionally stun you, which of course is not good news when you just spawn 5 enemies. But I don't seem to have a problem this time, so maybe you are allowed to save.
Time is up. Yeah. Hold still. Yeah. I'll see to it.
The poison room is one that is kind of annoying because the snake here will stun you and you won't even get a save for it. So I end up using Incendiary Cloud just to kill the enemies that are near me, so that I'm not in danger at all when I get stunned for a few rounds. But it ends up not being too bad. We also pick up the poison head for the Flail of Ages. That's to get it to +4. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is, after we get the gloves at the bottom of Watcher's Keep, what I'm probably going to do is swap to Flail of Ages main hand and Cromfair in the offhand. The one bad thing about Flail of Ages is the fact that if you upgrade it to +5, you get free action. So what I may do is either I won't upgrade it to +5, or I will, and then I basically unequip it before I cast Improved Haste on myself, and then I'll be able to take advantage of Improved Haste. But it is just kind of a pain. But the other part is, you get the last flail head so close to the end of the game anyway, that you're only really going to use it on so many fights. So I might upgrade it just to have it. I don't think the free action will cause too many problems. It just means I'll be able to run everywhere slower because Boots of Speed won't work. So yeah, I think that was changed for the Enhanced Edition, but unfortunately it's not a really great change, to be honest.
Let's do this quick. Hold still.
So this giant is not supposed to follow you this far out of his room. He's meant to turn back, but I have no idea where he was going. It's just very strange. I eventually opened the door so he can actually make it back in, but it was very weird. Basically, the entire point of this is to get 4 fire elementals to the frozen room, and then they die instantly there. After that, you can kill the fire giant. This is the point where we also pick up the Wand of Spell Striking, which will have casts of both Breach and Pierce magic on it. The fight against the Chromatic Demon, I found the easiest way to do this is to use a Planetar because of the instant kill effect. Unfortunately, I needed to rest in order to get our casting out, but I think he has like really high resistances to any physical damage, so unless you want to sit there casting spells at him for ages, probably is better just to let the Planetar eventually kill him. And it doesn't really take that long, but you'll see that it is relatively effective. We also pick up the Circlet of Netheril, or at least the base item. So we can upgrade that because we got the Ion Stone from Saradush. The last thing I do before heading out to level 3 is to get Thespinar to craft me some of the items that I have, including the Flail of Ages +4. Other ones I'm probably not going to use, but I do so anyway, like Phobane +5. You'll also notice that my bag of holding is completely cluttered. I think it's actually full at this point. So what I do before the next level is I empty it all out and I clear stuff up a little bit more.
Nope. Nope. I see nothing more that matches with my recipes. No more shiny ones. Oh well. Back to cleaning, I guess.
So we're going to head off to do level 3 of Watcher's Keep. This one, in my opinion, is the most difficult part. It's just incredibly annoying, and there is a reason I'm taking Black Razor out, because I think it is probably the best weapon for me to use here. The reason this level is so annoying is the fact that there are several dead magic rooms where you cannot cast spells at all. Of course, that is kind of a problem for our character, because Stone Skin is one of our main spells. So I'm going to take the most direct route that I know through here. I do get lost at one point, but apart from that, it seems to go fairly smoothly. But I'm going to use Black Razor because it can heal me. It can also automatically cast haste on me. It's just a generally good weapon to use here for the heal. Because I'm not going to be able to use Stone Skin or Mirror Image in rooms like this one. So this is the dead magic room that you run into first. The enemies here aren't too difficult. Also worth noting is that if you're lawful good, you can click on the statue in the middle there to get the purifier. Also worth noting is the fact that I think you need to be evil in order to do this, but you can agree to kill the other demon on this level for one of them. So that's what I decided to do here to avoid one of the fights. I'm not sure you can do that if you have a good alignment. This room also has dead magic in it, so you cannot cast spells once again. So I end up using hardiness here, which is actually quite effective, or at least I found it to be. But I do kind of not run into the middle of the room. I just stay in the corner and kill those first few enemies to begin with. As you can imagine, doing this area with any sort of magic character is a pain. I was considering just running through everything, because you can quite easily do that, but I decided against it just to see if we would be fine with high level abilities from the fighter and no magic for some of these rooms. But it ends up not being too bad. This room is kind of dangerous. You can go back in the corner here, and I do use the improved Cloak of Invisibility because it doesn't count as a spell itself. Some of these enemies seem to just charm you without a save at all, or the penalty for it is incredibly huge for some reason. So what I do instead is I use a Mord Sword in order to distract for me, but I unfortunately don't kill this one here. I think the Succubus is the one that really uses charm here, and I think you can even be charm immune and it will still go through it. So we come to the room where we need to kill this demon here. He just immediately attacks if you've aligned yourself with the other one. So I use Time Stop here, but he does go invisible halfway through it, which is very annoying. I didn't have True Sight to use, so unfortunately I can't do anything with that. So I just spend my time killing the rest of them. It ends up working out. Fortunately, this room is not a dead magic room, so I can cast spells here. Although, be careful, because you may notice that when you travel between rooms, I think it's a couple rounds before you're able to cast spells again. But yeah, the next thing we need to do is to go back to the previous room and hand in this demon's heart to the other one.
I'll see to it.
One of them's a demon, one of them's a devil. I can never remember which. But after we hand this in, we don't need to do the other fight. We also get the Thieves' Hood, although it is actually only usable by thieves, it looks like. So it's not much use to us.
We still cannot open our gate.
Must be done. It's probably best left to me. Concern.
The demons in this room will be ones that spawn a bunch of enemies into it. I really should have cast Death Fog here. I think I just forgot about it. But it ends up not being too much of a concern. I use protection from fire against the fire elemental. But aside from that, we do actually heal up against those enemies with improved haste on. So I needed to check the direction there for a second to make sure I'm going the right way. This room is a Wild Surge room, so you still don't want to be casting spells because they most likely will not have their original effect. But these enemies aren't too difficult if you kill the mage first. I think the mage will probably have Time Stop memorized, so just generally better to kill them first.
Let's do this.
No effect. No effect.
is it?
Most of the rooms in this level aren't dead magic rooms, which is good. But the ones that are just the ones that will cause you the most problems. This is a fighter mage, obviously. But once again, you really don't need to do any of these fights, especially if you're soloing. You can run past if you know where you're going, and it's probably a better option in general. So this is one of the difficult fights for me in here. I think I maybe could have used Daystar or something like that here, but I didn't think about it at the time, because I'm not sure if this enemy counts as undead. But what you'll notice is eventually they get through my stone skin before I can kill this this caster. The Wraith is affected by critical strike, but she has quite a lot of resistances, so I can't kill her very easily. I think she put on protection from magical weapons and I didn't even notice. But if you kill the caster first, then the rest of them will just disappear. So that's what I'm going for here. Although as soon as I put on improved haste, you know, the chance to get a heal from Black Razor just goes up substantially. But that's going to be it. Just one more fight that we need to do, which is against the last Cambion and his group of Tieflings. And that fight isn't too bad because we still have improved haste going. You can play his game in order to go through it, but I don't think you get the deck of many things from doing that. And yeah, I took the wrong portal there, so I need to backtrack a little bit. You'll see that I just use Incendiary Cloud and then melee everyone down. This can be quite a difficult fight, but the fact that you just have AoE that can hit everything and interrupt spellcasting here just makes it a lot easier in general. I do get hit by the Insect Plague from the Cleric, which is always annoying if you need to cast. So we reach level 4, which is the Machine of Lum level. We're going to get a bunch of stat upgrades here, but they're not going to be overly useful to us because we're using the Crumpfair anyway, so strength doesn't really matter to us at this point. But we're going to leave that until the next episode.
What, Odrin? Who you are is not really important anyway. I'm the only one who matters around here. I am Khan, the Magnificent Lord of the Level!
I accidentally go a bit too far north here, and I think I spawn in some of the shadows that attack me. What I really should have done was use Daystar here. But what I do is interrupt my casting of a Mord Sword, which is never good. And it looks like as though they just teleport in. Or they separate when they die. I'm not entirely sure how that's working. So I eventually cast Mord Sword, and I tried to cast Haste, but the machine is actually blocking the cast of it. So yeah, I didn't play this very well. But what I do is I go ahead and take out all those Shadow Fiends before I go back to the Pocket Plane. And then we're going to get the bonuses out of the Deck of Many Things. They are kind of unnecessary, and they will require a bunch of reloads on my part that I'm going to cut out. But I would say the main things that you can get if you do use the option for it is you can get the Ring of Protection +3, which I don't believe you can get any other way. And it's just a straight upgrade to what we're using currently. And you can also get the 10 hit point bonus from the third option. So what you're going to see me do is use Spell Immunity, Abjuration, because we want a bad roll for the first one in order to get good rolls for the next two. So one of the ones that you can get is Imprisonment is the first option. So I reload until I get this one, and it doesn't do anything to me because I'm immune to Imprisonment. Then the next one we get is Key, which gives us the Ring +3. which I equip immediately. You can also get Star, which gives you +1 to your primary attribute, but in my case that's Intelligence, which isn't very useful. And the last option we get is Moon, which increases your hit points by 10. It's just a straight bonus, and it's probably worth it. So that's all for this episode, and we'll finish Watcher's Keep next time.